Welcome to the CHP Esquimalt Saanich Sooke EDA YouTube channel. What's in a name comes to mind, that Shakespeare quote, when I think about our YouTube channel name, so let me unpack it for you. CHP stands for the Christian Heritage Party. This is a federal political party that's been around since 1988. Esquimalt Saanich Sooke EDA refers to the political riding located in southern Vancouver Island next to the city of Victoria. So let me show you this riding. It's rather large, and so I will introduce you to it via a map. I'll hold up the map here and you can have a look at the map. Starting in the west, we have, it starts with Jordan River, and it goes through Sooke and East Sooke, right through Metchosin, on up into Colwood, View Royal, and finally it finishes up in the municipality of Saanich. The eastern boundary is the Pat Bay Highway, which goes up to the ferries, and then it cuts across near Elk Lake towards Butchart Gardens. Three other gentlemen and myself make up the electoral district board. Christian McKay is our president. Ron Burton is our treasurer. Colin Leavitt-Brown is our secretary, and my name is David Shafsma. I am the vice president of the CHP Electoral District Association and its board. In future videos, I hope to introduce you to the rest of the board members, to the president and the treasurer and the secretary. Right now, it's just me all by myself. We're so glad that you have joined us for the very first video that we have now uploaded to our YouTube channel. We're excited to tell you about our upcoming event, which will be happening March 22nd at 3 p.m. at the lower clubhouse of the West Shore Recreation Center. This clubhouse is located just behind the Q Center, the hockey arena in the West Shore Rec Center. The meet and greet will be taking place as a way to introduce me as the candidate for the CHP in this riding that is upcoming in the next federal election. Also on the agenda is the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about an idea that I've been thinking about quite a bit in the recent days. I've been thinking about how Canada's Parliament has the two major parties. We have the Conservatives and the Liberals, and then we have other parties that form opportunities for influence on these two major parties. Of course, you have the Green Party, and you have the New Democratic Party and the Bloc Québécois. These are all parties with particular agendas, and their elected MPs are trying to steer the government into following some of their policy proposals, their agenda. And I think the CHP is uniquely positioned to influence the government, to influence policy and the direction of the government, especially as we move into the next parliament, which I will predict will be a conservative government. Whether it's a small majority or landslide victory, I guess that remains to be seen. So as I have said just moments before, I've indicated that I will be the candidate for the Christian Heritage Party in the riding of Esquimalt Saanich Sooke. So I will be introducing myself as the candidate for this riding, for your riding, if this happens to be the place where you live. And if you received an invitation by mail, you will have noticed that I put into the brochure insert four policy proposals that I am putting out there as top of mind, top priorities for myself if I should get elected to Parliament. And I believe that this action plan is, of course, most important, but it's not, of course, the full policy plan of the CHP, and certainly not for myself either. There are policy proposals for a wide range of issues which you can access at the Christian Heritage Party's website and have a look at all of the planks in the platform, which I wholeheartedly endorse. But I feel that these four areas that I have outlined in the brochure insert and these policy proposals that I am very concerned about, that these are priorities for our society, priorities for our communities. So I will outline them now. Policy proposal number 1. I'd like to force pornography providers on the internet to limit access to their content to individuals who are 19 years of age or older. We need to start doing a better job of protecting our children, to protect their hearts and their minds. Second, I would like to work to prohibit medical providers from performing gender-affirming care, and I use air quotes around that. And I would like to prohibit them from using trans sex hormones, puberty blocking hormones, and surgeries for so-called transitioning on minors. I believe that these tools that are being used for these individuals that need our care, or they need our support, they do need care for gender dysphoria. But providing these hormones and surgeries for people under the age of 19 must stop. This is not the right way to help people who are confused, people that need our love. They need care, but the way it's being provided and the way it's being put forward is currently not okay, and this needs to be prohibited by law to help protect our children. The third policy proposal is to ban sexual orientation and gender identity education between the grades of K through 12 in all schools, all public schools, well, all schools across Canada. In BC, this education program is known as SOGI 123, and we must leave this kind of discussion, a discussion about sexual orientation, about gender identity. We need to leave this kind of discussion for parents to have with their children. This is not appropriate to have teachers teaching children in the classroom about such issues. Fourth, I would propose that we repeal MAID. MAID stands for Medical Assistance in Dying. Canada has embraced a culture of death by allowing physicians to euthanize patients who are maybe in the last stages of a terminal illness. They're in a stage of their lives where the end is in sight and they're in excruciating pain. And of course we need to have compassion for these people, but MAID is not the answer. We need to spend more money and more resources on palliative care. We need to spend more money and more resources in finding better ways to relieve pain. And so I would propose that we repeal MAID and put our resources into ideologies and into efforts to embrace life, even at the stages of life where the end is in sight. I also propose a repeal of MAID because we can see that there is an effort to expand MAID. We see it in the province of Quebec, where a proposal has been put forward to expand MAID to people between the ages of 12 and 18. There also have been mistakes made with the proposal of MAID for individuals in our country. Veterans Affairs has offered MAID to our military veterans who were seeking help for their disabilities, help which would relieve their pain and their suffering. Maybe it was a request for a new wheelchair. In certain instances, the request was just simply to help with their disability. And oddly enough, the reply came back, well, have you considered MAID? This was nowhere on the radar screen for these veterans, and it's reprehensible that when they were seeking ways to embrace life, to be able to enjoy their lives more fully, they were offered a quick exit. They were offered euthanasia instead. So we need to repeal this very wrong-headed law that is embracing a culture of death and is really not helping Canadians or our culture to move forward. You may be asking, why are these 4 issues top priority? Shouldn't we be thinking about the economy, about inflation, and now maybe a top priority should be to think about how do we respond to the tariffs that are coming at us from the United States? Of course, these are important issues, and the Christian Heritage Party has put forward proposals to deal with these issues in our platform. You can go to the Christian Heritage Party website to review those policies that address the issues that I've mentioned. However, I believe that we need to start protecting our children, and we need to help support our families in a much better way. The 4 policy proposals that I've put forward are meant to embrace a culture of life and not a culture of death. We need to help our children in a world that's increasingly becoming more and more confusing. And we need to help them embrace something that will help them thrive. And so these 4 policy proposals, I believe, will help children and will help families in a way that will give them a hope for the future. While this is the very first YouTube video for our channel, I am hopeful that it will not be our last, and I look forward to unpacking some of the issues that I have touched on in this video. So mark on your calendar March 22nd, 3 p.m. and come join us for a discussion about the Christian Heritage Party, about my candidacy for the CHP in the riding of Esquimalt Saanich Sooke. And I hope to have a discussion about ways in which we can bring hope to this electoral district, and indeed to electoral districts across our great country. So send your RSVPs to chp.ess.eda@gmail.com. So again, send your RSVP if you can to chp.ess.eda@gmail.com. I will put the email address in the show notes. And again, I look forward to seeing you March 22nd at 3 p.m. at the lower clubhouse of the West Shore Recreation Center. We will see you there.